Hey YouTube, Scarpad from Scarpad's Comic Trucks coming at you with yet another Blu-ray haul video where I look at some of the Blu-rays I picked up lately, discuss the movies, and just talk about physical media in general. If you like physical media, pop culture, comic books, or just me being a general ass, hey, go ahead, like and subscribe and share this video, and I hope you enjoy it. So, look at some of the latest movies I picked up on Blu-ray. This first movie comes out in the genre known as Italian horror in the early 80s, late 70s, a cannibal movie. Of course, cannibal movies were big back then, things like Cannibal Holocaust, Cannibal Ferox. They were known for their excessive violence and gore, some of which was real, some of which was staged, and called video nasties over in Europe because of their content. Wasn't a huge fan of these movies, but from time to time, I've watched them. This one I've never seen, and I saw it and I picked it up. This stars John Saxon. John Saxon, you remember, was a genre actor in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. He was in the original Nightmare on Elm Street movies. He also starred in Gene Roddenberry's pilots for Strange New World and Planet Earth. And of course, he was in the iconic $6 Million Man episode, Day of the Robot, where he's fighting Steve Austin as the robot with a mask pops off. And it's about a half-hour slow-motion fight that every 12-year-old boy remembers. Great stuff. Well, this movie's called Cannibal Apocalypse. It came out in 1980, and this is released from Kino Lorber. Kino Lorber is kind of like the Criterion of these splatter movies and these genre films. Well, Cannibal Apocalypse was a much better movie I thought it was going to be. It does have some of that gore and violence in it, but also it's a pretty decent story where it talks about the Vietnam vets. This Vietnam vet, John Saxon, who's leading a team in Vietnam, gets infected by two of his men who have this flesh-eating disease where they become almost like zombies. But they're rational people still. They just hunger for human flesh. And they come home to what is supposed to be, I think, New York, but it's really Atlanta. And John Saxon is infected, and it's him battling his need, his hunger for flesh, and of course, also to be a commander to his men. But this has an interesting story to it. It's almost like a morale story where the war is kind of seen as an infection in itself, and bringing this infection back, the disillusionment and some of the stuff that these guys faced when they came back home. Don't want to get too deep. It's still a genre film. It has the gore and the violence, but also is pretty well acted. John Saxon's good in it. The other cast members are decent. This is a pretty nice disc. It has a really nice transfer on it, and also has some nice interviews and documentaries of the making of the film itself. And so if you're a fan of the genre, especially the cannibal genre, this is probably one of the best movies you can get in that genre, called Cannibal Apocalypse. I recommend it. I enjoyed this movie. So look for it also wherever you buy your videos. I think it just came out not too long ago. Got kind of a Batman kick, and it had a lot of these things on sale. So I picked up some of the discs. And the first one I picked up is a series that I've only ever seen a few episodes of, but I've enjoyed in the DC Animation stable. And that, of course, is Batman Beyond. This is the complete series Blu-ray. And of course, now with Michael Keaton set to star again as Bruce Wayne, and I think a Flash movie, and maybe even a Batman Beyond movie if they're smart. It's a timely thing. Batman Beyond, of course, tells a story of an older Bruce Wayne in a Gotham of the future, where he meets a young teenager named Terry McGinnis, and Terry eventually will become his protege, and of course Bruce Wayne, the mentor. He has Ace the Bat Hound. He's kind of like almost the Alfred to the new Batman. It ran about 51 episodes, I believe, right after the Batman the Animated Series. I've seen a few of these, and I've liked what I've seen, so I found this really cheap online. So I picked up Batman Beyond, the complete series. It has some interesting features on it. It's got a digital copy included, so if you want to get a digital copy, you can download it and get it digitally as well. I recommend it. DC Animation is sometimes hit and miss, but the Batman stuff is usually pretty good. And anything back in this genre, and of course, it's got Kevin Conroy still as the voice of Batman. You can't do better than Kevin Conroy as the voice of Batman. He is the ultimate Batman actor, at least his voice. So Batman Beyond, the Blu-ray version, look for a complete series. Next, we'll do all three of these at once. I found these also very cheap. Also on Blu-ray, this is a series that came on after Batman Beyond, and it was called Batman the Brave and the Bold. Batman the Brave and the Bold is a 3-disc set. It's 3 seasons on Blu-ray from that series. And Batman Brave and the Bold brings back the fun and the just the joy of those 60s Batman comic books, where you had a mixture of the camp from the old TV series and just the fun. So if you didn't like your Batman, very gloomy, very dark in all his creations, and especially if you have young kids, this is a great series, Batman the Brave and the Bold. Also, Batman teams up with a character from the DC Universe, and there's a lot of obscure characters in this that you don't see in a lot of the other Batman series. It's got a great opening title sequence. This is just a fun show. Batman the Brave and the Bold. I believe Kevin Conroy also did the voice here, I believe, but I may be mistaken on that. But it's a great series, one of my favorite. Next to the original animated series, I would say Batman the Brave and the Bold is probably my next favorite, Batman series. And all three are available on Blu-ray, and they look really good on Blu-ray. Next, I don't think when people ask me what is my favorite Batman movie, they expect me to say, well, gee, I loved Batman '89. I loved Batman Begins, and that's true. I do love all those films, iconic films in the genre of Batman. But truly, the best Batman movie, and this movie did run in the theaters for a short time, is a movie that came on, an animated film that came in after the animated series called Batman: The Mask of the Phantasm. For Batman, live action or animated, you can't do better than Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. It tells the story of Bruce Wayne, an old flame of his, the Joker. It calls back to his origin, the death of his parents. A new villain appears, the Phantasm in Gotham. Kevin Conroy is once again the voice of Batman. This is a subject that's handled like even all the early animated stuff with the fun and the excitement of the comics, but yet a seriousness to it. Batman: The Mask of the Phantasm, and also has Mark Hamill starring as the voice of the Joker. You can't do better than this. This is my favorite, even to this day, movie because it shows Batman as a detective, and it's the best and the closest incarnation of Batman, along with the animated series, to the comic books. So if you haven't seen this, it's rated, I believe, PG. There's a little bit of stuff in here, not too bad. And the kids haven't seen this. This is a great movie to introduce the character of Batman to younger kids and to people who may not know the character of Batman. This is a good place to start. So look for Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. Excellent, excellent, highly recommended. Okay, next up, of course, also I found this cheap online, Batman the Animated Series. I already had this on DVD, and I thought, the animation on this style is kind of stilted a little bit. It's like that 30s noir type of animation. How well would it translate to Blu-ray? Pretty well. I've seen this in high definition. The colors pop a little bit more. It's a little cleaner. I'm not saying it's a must-buy, but if you can find this cheap like I did on Blu-ray, this is the complete series. All I think 109 episodes. Of course, this started off Batman the Animated Series. Started off and then went to Batman: The New Adventures. Still starring Kevin Conroy. I will say that the earlier series, Batman the Animated Series, is the better of the two. They went to a different animation style for Batman, the New Adventures. The stories, which are still phenomenal, are still just as good in the new series. I just don't like the animation style as much. It's better than the original. Still, you can't beat this. I wasn't aware of it, but this does come with Batman: The Mask of the Phantasm and the animated episode, the animated movie Sub-Zero is on this as well. Just to go back to Batman Beyond also has the movie The Return of the Joker on it, so you'll get a few extra things on here as well as a lot of extras, a lot of documentaries on the making of the series. Batman the Animated Series is still to this day the quintessential Batman series. I grew up on this. I was like probably in my early late teens, 18 and 19 when this came on. And this is still my favorite incarnation of Batman on television. It really is faithful to the comic, done in a serious adult manner, but yet beautiful for kids, especially if they want to get into Batman. This disc comes with a digital copy, so you can redeem this wherever you get your digital stuff from, so you can watch on your phone, watch on your iPad, whatever. So I highly recommend. This could be had for under. I've seen this under $50. You can get it for around. I think I got this for around 36, which is pretty cheap for this. But you look around when it goes on sale, you can find it. Batman animated series. I can't recommend this highly enough for Batman. Okay, we'll take a little break here. Have a little hard seltzer. All right, next, do these together. Back in the 70s, Dan Curtis was the original producer on Dark Shadows. If anybody remembers Dark Shadows, it was a daily TV soap opera that was a gothic horror. It started off as kind of like a gothic drama, turned into more of a gothic horror. Of course, everybody remembers the great character Barnabas Collins. I remember coming home from school every day at 3 o'clock, and even though this was a soap opera, I would tune into this. It had Barnabas Collins as the vampire. Quentin was the werewolf on the show. And it was just a great, fun soap opera. Well, Dan Curtis went on to do the next series in these movies that led to a series. And that was a great pair of TV movies called The Night Stalker and The Night Strangler. These are both from Kino Lorber, who have remastered this into beautiful 1080p versions of these TV movies. They have new interviews on them, new featurettes. From a lot of sources. I believe there's even some Dan Curtis interviews on this. And The Night Stalker and then The Night Strangler were back when ABC used to do their Tuesday movies of the week. And they'd have some great movies on there, like Gargoyles, Where Have All the People Gone? Great movies made for TV, all different genres, but a lot of horror, a lot of sci-fi. And this series was starring the great Darren McGavin, who everybody remembers from A Christmas Story as the old man. And Darren McGavin also was in The X-Files. He was in Raw Deal with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He made a ton of movies and TV shows in the 50s and 60s, and he's such a great actor. Darren McGavin is one of my favorite all-time actors from that area of time because he was just so natural. And he is great in the show as Kolchak, the intrepid reporter that is on the trail of all these supernatural events. And in both these movies, one is Night Stalker is a vampire, Night Strangler is a mysterious killer. And then this was spun off into a short-lived 20-episode TV series called The Night Stalker, still available on video. And in those 20 episodes, he does things like chasing zombies, vampires again, aliens, Jack the Ripper. A great episode where Spanish monster and a monster killing old people from an old Nazi legend. It was a great series. It starred Simon Oakland as his editor, as do the movies. Just a fun show. Uh, if you can find that, the 1 year available, get that. Get these movies. They're still available on Blu-ray. I highly recommend this. If you haven't seen The Night Stalker or The Night Strangler, this was also turned into a very short-lived revival in the 90s, and it was horrible. They made kind of like the X-Files clone out of it. I don't recommend that, but I do recommend these originals. These are excellent movies. Get them if you can find them. All right, next. I watched this tonight. I never saw this movie. It came out 2019. I picked this up on Blu-ray. It is available on 4K. I think the 4K is a little bit more money. I got this for like $7.99, and I enjoyed it. I never read these, kind of like Goosebumps for kids, but it's scary stories to tell in the dark. I enjoyed this. It was kind of like a cross between Stranger Things, Stephen King, with a little bit of it thrown in. It's a horror story set in a haunted house with this group of kids. They find a book. The book leads them to an adventure and to a lot of scary stuff. And there's a good mix of practical and CGI. Of course, there's jump scares, which I'm not big on, but they were okay. This was produced by Guillermo del Toro. He also wrote the screenplay for this. And it's a good movie. It's a decently made film. It's PG-13. There's some really scary, maybe a couple disturbing scenes, but kids can handle this. From what I understand, they read this a lot. The ending was a little anticlimactic, like they're expecting this to have a sequel, which I don't know if it's ever going to. Still, I enjoyed this movie for what I paid for it. The transfer's pretty nice. Comes with a digital copy. It has some extras on here for the making of the movie. I'd never seen this, but I would recommend it. Scary stories to tell in the dark. Look for it. Okay, next. Here's another movie that I just got in 4K. This was really cheap. It came out a couple of months ago, maybe late last year. I've heard good things about this. I have not watched this yet. And from what I understand, this is the movie to watch if you want to get an idea how James Patterson will be as the Batman, because he's in this movie along with William Dafoe, and it's a movie called The Lighthouse. I think this is in black and white, I believe. Yes, it is black and white. This is a 4K version. It's available on DVD as well. No, I take it back. This is the Blu-ray. I don't know what I'm talking about. This is the Blu-ray and the digital copy on this. I got this real cheap. I think this is available on 4K, I believe. But when I get I think now, if I can get a movie on Blu-ray real cheap, and the Blu-ray is a lot more money, if it's something I haven't seen, I'll go for the Blu-ray. If I really like it, maybe sometime in the future I'll upgrade. But this was worth. I think I paid $5 for this, and it comes with a digital copy. Comes with a slip cover. It's got some audio commentaries on it. It's from Lionsgate. I understand this is a really good film. I love William Dafoe. Robert Pattinson. I haven't watched the Twilight movies, so I don't know what to expect for him. I understand he was good in this movie. People who have seen it have recommended it, so I picked it up. So The Lighthouse, look for it. You can grab this really cheap now. Okay, another movie I heard a lot from. I've seen this. I think it was on Netflix, but I haven't watched it. Once I got this for like $3, cheap. I think it's well under 10 if you buy it on Blu-ray. It's called Brawl in Cell Block 99. Vince Vaughn, who has had an up and down career in movies, started off in comedies, has like a lot of comedians tried to get into dramas, and he's fairly good in dramas. I've seen him in some things. He was in True Detective season 2. It was kind of a misfire there, but of course he was in Maid with John, the guy from the Iron Man movies. I can't remember his name right now. but he was really, really good in that. He's been good in other movies. So I saw the previews of this. It looked like an interesting indie film, and it's got some commentaries on it. Blu-ray does not contain a digital edition, but you can get this real cheap. I'm looking forward to watching this Brawl in Cell Block 99. Okay, next, whenever I can get a Scream Factory or Shout Factory Scream Factory release, I found this real cheap online for way under $10. I've never seen this movie. It's gotten cult status. Sleepaway Camp. I understand this has like 2 or 3 sequels, but from what I understand, the first movie was the best. Of course, it's a 80s slasher movie in the vein of like Friday the 13th and all those type of slasher flicks. But I heard good things about it, and of course, usually Shout Factory does an excellent job. This has a new 2K scan on Blu-ray. It's got new commentary tracks, original commentaries. It's got interviews. It's got the screenplay, scrapbook behind the scenes, and more. Shout Factory puts out excellent Blu-rays on these genre films. So whenever I can pick up a Shout Factory release, even if I haven't seen it, and if it's cheap, well under $10 like this was, because some of these can get pretty expensive when they first come out. So I usually wait till you can find these, for $7, $8, which you can do. Sleepaway Camp. Looking forward to watching this on Blu-ray. Now this release just came out. A little background. Of course, I'm old, and I remember that in my local market when it was 3 stations. These were run every Sunday afternoon at 2:30 from Hal Roach. And there was a guy called Hal Stanton, who was a local guy on one of the channels here. And he was a historian that really knew a lot about these guys, and that's Laurel and Hardy. And Laurel and Hardy, along with Abbott Costello, the Marx Brothers, really classic comedians. If you haven't seen any of Laurel and Hardy's short films, then this is a new set that just came out. It's a 4-disc release. It has all their original shorts, including the classic one that everybody remembers, I believe is on here, the Music Box, where they're pushing that piano up a flight of stairs for the entire film. If you like slapstick comedy, if you like any of these older duos, give this a try. I recommend it. I mean, you have to look at your past, especially in film and motion picture and TVs, to really enjoy the future. And Stan and Ollie, these have fully been remastered on Blu-ray. It's got 2,500 rare photos, posters, commentaries, film and audio interviews, alternate soundtracks, classic trailers, almost 9 hours of excluded rarities. It's got all the shorts. Presented by the UCLA Film Preservation Society. Fully restored. This just came out last month. I can't recommend these guys hardly enough. Take a chance. Laurel and Hardy. I love these guys. I used to watch them every Sunday afternoon. I think I've seen all their shorts. I can't wait to watch these again, especially on Blu-ray. They're going to look fantastic. That and the Three Stooges. I love those guys. I'm waiting for the Three Stooges to come on Blu-ray. I have the DVD collections. They look good. They've been remastered in HD, and I can't wait, hopefully, to get the Blu-rays on Three Stooges soon. Hopefully. Okay, finally, I found this online cheap. I think it was under $20, which is phenomenal for this. And this came out a couple years ago, maybe last year, right around the time that Mad Max Fury Road came out. This is Mad Max, a High Octane Collection. It's an 8-disc set that contains, of course, all the Mad Max movies. You get the original Mad Max with the Australian soundtrack. You get The Road Warrior. You get Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. You get Mad Max on Fury Road on Blu-ray. You get Mad Max Fury Road Chrome and Steel, which was the director's black and white version of Fury Road. And you get the 4K release of Mad Max Fury Road. I wish the other movies were in 4K. They haven't come out yet in 4K. I think they will be coming out. But for what I paid for this, which was around, I think, $23 for 8 discs, this has a ton of Blu-ray special features. You have everything I've described to you. You have an extra disc on all the movies from the Extras Road Warrior. You got a lot of bonuses on here. And of course, you get the original version of Mad Max in the original Australian dialogue. Remember when this movie came out, Mad Max, it was dubbed. They didn't think people would understand. Mel Gibson back then had a much stronger Australian accent, so they dubbed him. They dubbed the entire movie. And even though dubbing is kind of quaint, the movie is so much better when seen in its original language, which is English with an Australian accent. And there's always subtitles if you think the accent is too thick, which it really isn't. Anybody knows me knows I love post-apocalyptic movies, and for that you cannot do better than Mad Max. I enjoyed all the movies, including all the originals and the sequels, and I enjoyed Mad Max Fury Road. Tom Hardy is no Mel Gibson, but he did an okay job. Charlize Theron was really good. She was really almost the star of that movie, and that's okay because she was good. George Miller came back, who was the director. He's directed all these movies. And some of the physical stunts in all 3 films of the original films, it's something to see. When Fury Road came out, he did a lot of physical, but there was some CGI. But this was back, all the originals are back way before CGI. And to see some of the original things they did with vehicles in Mad Max and The Road Warrior and Thunderdome, unbelievable, phenomenal. They'll never be topped, in my opinion. So Mad Max, high octane collection, look for it. You can get this cheap now. It's available on Amazon and a bunch of other places. If it's back up to regular price, because I think this came out like $80. Don't buy it at $80, but when you can get it for around $20, $25, I highly recommend it. This is a fantastic set and some fantastic movies. Okay, well, that's my latest haul. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. I'll come back from time to time when I get a haul of movies. I hope you guys love, like I do, movies and physical media and just talking movies in general, because that's what this channel is about, along with comic books. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. And remember, we always say all the time, keep reading, keep trekking, and we'll catch you guys later. Thanks, everybody.